Hello, West Michigan. Meteorologist Sarah Flynn here. Wanted to bring you guys an update on the ongoing weather situation. We've had a show at noon. We have more shows to come at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 tonight. But in between this afternoon, want to give you a quick update on what we're seeing on our end and any fine-tuned changes to the forecast that we may have seen. As always, if you have any questions and you're watching on Facebook, or you can shoot me an email, our entire team will be responsive to that. Feel free to drop them in the comments and I'll work on addressing with that as we move throughout. So if you see me glancing down at my phone, that is exactly what I'm doing. We'll start off with our current alerts that we have ongoing. We actually have a twofold situation here. We have our cold weather alerts still in effect across West Michigan, and we did get an extension for that winter weather advisory. I'll touch a little bit more on the snow as we move further down here, but we'll start off here. We have that extreme cold warning for counties along and north of I-96. As of this morning, we saw wind chills in that range, if not even colder in some spots near and north of Highway 10. Those are for wind chills at -20 to -30. And then off to the south, it's a cold weather advisory. Slight improvement in terms of those wind chills, but still quite cold, anywhere from -15 to -25 degrees. Now, I did mention this morning a very, very cold start to our day. Here's some of the top coldest wind chills that were recorded. Lakeview sitting at -30, Grand Rapids -26, Muskegon -24, Grand Haven -21. So again, fitting quite nicely in that threshold for the advisory and the extreme cold warning. Now, as we look ahead to Saturday, we are expecting these wind chills to fit in this range as well. The one thing that we have going for us as we move into Saturday are those winds are going to be a bit calmer. This morning, we were still seeing top wind gusts between that 20 and 35 mile per hour range. And keep in mind, the wind chill, of course, accounts for the wind. So once we have calmer single-digit winds into tomorrow, we should see some improvement. Cold out there now, but hey, I think the sunshine is making us feel a little bit better. It feels like -21 in Grand Rapids, -16 in Kalamazoo, -14 in Holland. Again, the wind's still a touch breezy, but will continue to wind down as we move about the next 12 hours here. Now, if we take a look at what to expect tonight, you're going to see on our 8-day forecast that those low temperatures are actually forecasted to be colder than they were this morning. But as I mentioned, the winds will be calmer. Now, actually, calmer winds tend to lead to colder temperatures, especially when we have clear skies, which, again, a lot of us inland seeing the sunshine. We should maintain those clear skies as we head through tonight. But again, with calmer winds, should feel just a smidge better. Not by much, still going to be very, very, very cold. But again, we have that going for us. By about noon, we should rise into the positives in terms of high temperatures, and those will be in the single digits by the afternoon. Now, also want to focus on the snow. It's been a twofold event. This is actually a mistake. It now has been extended until 7 p.m. tonight. That's why you're still seeing it pop up on that map. So our winter weather advisory in effect for counties along and west of 131. The good news is we've seen some improvement with the snowfall. So here's a look at Storm Track Live. The heaviest snow is falling in portions of Ottawa, Allegan, and Van Buren counties. Most of Kent County is dry. Barrie County, certainly dry. Ionia, similar situation. And it really falls apart as you move south of I-94. Now, the reports that we've seen come in today have been fairly minuscule. You have to remember when temperatures get this cold, the snowflakes or the dendrites are really, really small. So it takes a little bit more time for those inches to stack up across the board. So when we talk about snow tonight, again, we don't have another system coming in. This is purely lake effect. High pressure continues to build off to our west, which is part of the reason why it's so cold, but it will officially dry us out. I think this snow will really come to an end by midnight, and we'll just have to deal with the cold temperatures as we move into Saturday. So I know a lot of information coming in. We'll give you a snapshot of what to expect for your weekend. -15 is your low tomorrow. We're keeping that. Again, some areas to the north could get a bit colder than that. Areas south of Grand Rapids could get a bit warmer than that. High temperatures holding in the single digits. Mostly cloudy, but arguably the first dry day for most of us that we've had this week. Into Sunday, a low of 0, a high of 10. By the way, 10 degrees is still not warm enough that we're going to see much improvement on the roadways. We like the temperature to be 15 degrees or higher in order for that salt to become effective. By the way, we have a lot of reporters out, digging into the details on how road crews and just, people are dealing with this cold and the really slippery roads. Most road crews are not doing anything right now. The salt is relatively ineffective and uneven sand is not going to help a ton. We've seen some issues on hills and roadways. I know Fuller and Fulton intersection, we actually saw that earlier on, almost every car getting stuck. So once again, going to be a good day and a good weekend to really stay inside. We should start to see some improvement with the roadways sometime into early next week. But I mentioned it's a twofold situation. We also have a system on Sunday that could bring us some fresh snow. So what does that look like for us? Well, this is a system that's going to impact a huge part of the country. Perhaps you've seen some headlines. There's going to be ice, rain, and snow for areas off to our south, states that aren't necessarily equipped to deal with the snow and ice. Kentucky, Arkansas, portions of Oklahoma, even Kansas could see several inches of snow. Those are cities that oftentimes don't have the plow or infrastructure to deal with it. Now for us, we might get clipped on the northern edge of this. So all things considered, we're kind of on the good side of this system. Right now, it looks like there's a high chance that areas near and south of I-94 could see some fresh snow. Areas between I-94 and I-96 could see some snow. And then areas north of I-96, I do think will stay dry. This system has shifted in almost every single model run we've gotten. So we're not going to put out totals just yet, but you can expect those later on tonight, if not tomorrow morning. So a lot of information to digest. If you're just coming in now, as always, feel free to put questions or comments in the comment section. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Wood TV Plus, don't hesitate to send us an email or message us on social media. We're more than happy to help there. But here's a snapshot of that 8-day forecast for you. Again, tomorrow is the coldest day, a high of 8 and low temperatures in the morning at about -15. When you see our days on the 8-day forecast in that red color, it's an alert day. So essentially, we do believe that the weather is going to vastly impact your plans, but we have that going for us that it's expected to be dry. Sunday likely clipped by that system, and the problem with Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is that we continue to see the flow coming from the west-northwest. And when that happens, it oftentimes triggers lake effect snow for us. End of the week, though, looking dry, still quite cold. Again, at best, we're looking at high temperatures in the teens, low temperatures in the single digits, but perhaps just warm enough that we could start to see some improvement on area roadways. Now, I think the biggest question that we've gotten in over the last 2 weeks is, when does this end? And the short answer is the first week of February looks a bit warmer for us. We are looking at high temperatures perhaps rising to the 20s and 30s, and we're also looking at a bit of a drier pattern. So really the next 48 to 72 hours are really crucial. Stay inside. Again, we'll have a lot of experts and reporters reporting on what you can do this weekend, how to stay safe. I know a lot of people still trying to shovel out their cars, perhaps shovel their driveway. You do want to limit your time outside. Again, hypothermia and frostbite can happen in these temperatures in 30 minutes or less. So take it very seriously as we head about the next few days. Now, as mentioned, if you have any questions, Storm Team 8 is going to be here around the clock tonight and even into tomorrow morning. We have multiple meteorologists staffed for our shows. Any questions, send our way, and be sure to tune in at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 tonight and daybreak tomorrow morning for the latest. For now, I'm meteorologist Sarah Flynn. We'll see you on air here in just about an hour.